What's up, guys? It's a long Saturday of studying, but at least it's relevant. Right now, it's time for a lunch break. Let me show you guys what I'm working on. So for those of you that haven't seen it, basically everything you could possibly classify in business, finance is accounted for in this giant handbook. So the CPA handbook. This is for Canada, but it's very similar for the US and other places. So you go into accounting, and we have the international financial reporting standards. So this is what publicly traded companies follow, and it goes through all these PDF documents. When you load it, pops up over here. Most of them are multiple pages long. And then in Canada we have accounting standards for private enterprises. So this is what my business would follow under. And if I ever need to know how to account for something in my business, all of the standard would be right here. So let's say, I don't know how to account for something that I'm leasing. Go here and it breaks it down. All the different methods of accounting for capital lease, presentation of capital lease. So everything I could possibly need is in here. So it is a very relevant program to my business in that this is literally how the financial statements of my business are put together. And this is my delicious lunch, which is bought from Costco. It's great pasta and quinoa salad. So life of a student, guys. Cannot wait until this chapter's over and I'm back out full-time building my business. But for now, this is what we're doing. What I want to talk about is how sometimes you just really nail one habit in your routine in your life and everything else slowly starts to fall into place. And it could literally be as simple as getting to bed on time, waking up on time. For me, this is super important. There's a book out there called Change One Thing, which talks about how when you change one thing, the momentum you gain from that kind of spills over into all the other areas of your life. So for me, for example, as I start crushing the basic habits, getting to bed at 10 p.m., waking up at 5:30 a.m., starting each day with simple exercise, all the other more complex aspects of my life, everything from my level of focus, my level of confidence, how personable I am, how upbeat, how much positive energy I have, all kind of start falling into place. It's really interesting how changing one simple thing that you think would be unrelated to these more complex matters actually has a profound effect. This is why, when a high performance person is in a rut or is struggling, what a coach would say to them is just, go back to the basics. Because when you start hitting the basics, you gain the ability to once again excel at the more complex aspects of whatever it is you're doing. So I encourage you guys, if you feel like there's so many things you have to change to be living the life you want, to be achieving the goals you want, and there's just so much that you're behind on, just pick one thing and change that, and suddenly you'll find the confidence you gained from that makes all the rest of the changes gradually seem less and less intimidating. I just watched the Mark Zuckerberg speech at the Harvard graduation for the class of 2017. And one thing that stuck out to me is that he said ideas are never fully formed before you start implementing. When he started building Facebook, he just had this vague idea of building a business or building a platform that would connect people. Originally it was just at Harvard, and then it was in all over the US and then all over the world. But the point he was driving home is that you can't wait until the idea is perfectly crystallized to start executing it. And I think this applies for any sort of system you build in your life or in your business. For example, for my business, when I first started hiring people to, do work for me, I had no idea how to properly interview, how I should select the people, how much I should pay them. I just, got on Craigslist, got on Upwork, made a posting, got a few applications, and as I went through it, I refined the process and learned a lot. And now, as I'm hiring new people, I know how to do it because I learned as I went. And even on your personal life, something as simple as, building a morning routine. You don't need to have the entire routine mapped out before you start. For example, my morning routine here in Saskatoon is I wake up at 5:30, do a bit of journaling, look over my goals, and then get to the gym by 7, workout class at 8, class at 8:30. Only now that process is kind of becoming a well-oiled machine. The details fall into place as you start. Even the things as simple as getting the locker, what to put in the locker, what to bring. The first time, I think I forgot to bring my morning protein shake, which is a huge pain in the ass. The same thing goes for processes with my business when it came to first hiring people, when it came to my content marketing. I've just started that now. What Mark Zuckerberg is saying is that you never have this one eureka moment. That's a myth. And all the TV shows and movies we watch that portray successful people having this one eureka moment, then just sort of following that plan is not true. When you start something, you just start with a vague idea, and as you do it, that idea is refined. So what he said is that the most important thing is just to start, and I couldn't agree with him more. So one of the key things I've had to learn is how to keep a business alive, investing about 1 hour a day in its management. It's extremely challenging. You have to become an expert of prioritizing, of delegating, and of ensuring that every minute you spend is put to good use. Right now, the reason I'm doing that is because my master's program is very demanding, but in the future, I'm also going to have to do that because the reason I started this business, one of the reasons, is to give myself an amazing lifestyle. My end goal is to work maybe 30 hours a week, earning an incredible income. And in order to continually build a business, working 7 or 8 hours a week is what I'm doing now. But even working 30 hours a week and making sure that that doesn't become 40, 50, 60, 70-hour weeks, which it easily can in entrepreneurship, you have to learn how to prioritize and how to delegate.